What's up, guys? It's me Boxing, and today I'm going to be predicting the outcome of Caleb Plant versus Caleb Truax, which will be a 12-rounder for the IBF Super-Middleweight World Championship. And this will be Saturday, January 30th, from the Shrine Exposition Center in Los Angeles, California. And this fight is going to be broadcasted on Fox. And again, both fighters, Caleb Plant, currently the unbeaten IBF Super-Middleweight World Champion. He has a record of 20-0 with 12 wins coming away with knockout. He's currently ranked number 6 by BoxRec and is amongst the top in the Super-Middleweight division. He won that IBF title against Jose Uskansky in January of 2019 by unanimous decision, and he did drop Uskansky twice in the process, and he won pretty convincingly. And in his first title defense, he took on relatively unknown, unbeaten Mike Lee. He did win by third-round knockout on the Pacquiao versus Thurman undercard. And then in his most recent fight, I did make a video on this one, so I would appreciate it if you guys could go check that one out, where he knocked out Vincent Feigenboots in 10 rounds in front of his hometown fans in Nashville. And that fight was a very good fight for Caleb Plant. It really showed a lot of skill, his endurance, speed, power, and really showed that he has the whole package. As even though he didn't drop Feigenboots, he was able to beat him into submission, as Feigenboots was like a punching bag there. But to get into his opponent, Caleb Truax, fighting out of Minnesota, he has a record of 31 wins, 4 losses, with 2 draws and 19 wins coming by way of knockout. He's currently ranked number 37 by BoxRec, so there is a 31 spot difference in between these two in the ranking system by BoxRec, and that's pretty significant, especially if you're a world champion fighting a contender. Even though Caleb Truax is a former world champion, he's getting older. He's relatively getting worse, like most fighters do as they get older. But, yeah, in my opinion, he really shouldn't be fighting for this world title. It really should be Caleb Plant fighting David Benavidez like we all want to see, or possibly just a higher-ranked contender. But, obviously, Caleb Plant fighting yet another, I guess you could call them another mismatch, because every single Plant fight that we've seen, besides when he fought Uskansky, it was a mismatch, totally. But getting into Truax's resume, he has a loss to Jermaine Taylor, then a loss to Danny Jacobs for the WBA middleweight title a couple years ago, then a loss by knockout in the first round to Anthony Durrell, and then he is the former IBF Super-Middleweight World Champion, even though I did say that earlier. Just going to remind you that he did win that title against James DeGale by majority decision, and that was definitely one of the big upsets of 2017. And he did win that fight pretty convincingly, even though it was very, very close. It was really a nail-biter, could have went either way, but I had Truax winning. But in their rematch, James DeGale regained the title, winning via unanimous decision this time, and it was pretty convincing, and I did give James DeGale the rematch. But in his most recent fights, he took on Peter Quillen, which sadly ended in a second round no contest after, in front of his hometown crowd in Minnesota. Caleb Truax suffered a headbutt in the second round, and it caused a nasty gash on his eye and forehead, which had to end the fight there. But in his most recent fight, he took on David Basami Vule. Sorry if I'm saying his name incorrectly, but he did win by majority decision. Even though it was a majority decision, I thought he won pretty handily and pretty convincingly, and I gave Caleb Truax most, if not every round there. But this fight, as I said before, and many other boxing YouTube channels are saying this, it is a mismatch, as it is nearly a 40-year-old former champion taking on a young, hungry lion in Caleb Plant. Even though Truax is roughly 37 years old, I mean, you could still count him as 40. I mean, these fighters are sort of just doing mismatch fights. I mean, Caleb Plant, as I was saying earlier, he's fighting guys who we've never heard of, like Mike Lee, Vincent Feigenboots, a guy no American boxing fan has ever heard of, and now Caleb Truax, 37, going on 40, and it's just a mismatch. I mean, even though he's a former champion, on paper it looks very good, but I know I said this 1,000 times during this video, it's still a 40-year-old past prime fighter. I mean, no credit taken away from Caleb Truax. He was a very good fighter in his prime, but he's just getting a little too old, and just like with every other fighter. Even there was a good example of that last night when Trevor Bryan took on Berman Stavern. Stavern was 42 years old, and the time was up for him, and he got stopped in 11 rounds. And I fear that these old fighters are going to take too much damage, like with Caleb Truax here. I think he will get stopped by Caleb Plant. Most other YouTube channels are predicting a knockout win for Caleb Plant, and so am I. If he doesn't stop Caleb Truax, then what's he doing? No, I'm just joking about that. But he'll likely win a late stoppage I mean, Caleb Plant isn't the biggest knockout puncher compared to like a Canelo, a David Benavidez, even a Danny Jacobs in the super middleweight division. But yeah, Caleb Truax, he'll definitely get stopped by Caleb Plant. It's really a matter of when. Probably in rounds 6 through 9, I'd say a stoppage. Well, scratch that 9 round stoppage. I'm thinking from round 6 to round 12, it will be a stoppage win for Caleb Plant. I think as the fight progresses, obviously Truax with an older gas tank, he's gonna get tired. Caleb Plant, he doesn't really have too great stamina, but he has enough stamina to carry on with a former champion like Caleb Truax, and I think Caleb Plant will get the stoppage between round 6 and rounds 12. So overall, I see Caleb Plant improving his record to 21-0, getting his 13th knockout, and defending his IBF Super-Middleweight World title. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.